This podcast is brought to you by lineupmedia.fm.
Because if you can tell me what your habits are, I can tell you what sort of a person you are. I can tell you what your future looks like.
But like I always say, life is 10% what happens to you, it's 90% what you do about it.
The people who are most effective in the workplace believe that their future is going to be bigger than their past. When people don't believe that their future is going to be bigger than their past, they begin to disengage.
You're listening to The Circuit of Success, a podcast dedicated to helping you achieve success in every facet of life. Only on the lineupmedia.fm podcast network. Now, your host, Brett Gilliland.
Hello, welcome to Circuit of Success. I'm your host, Brett Gilliland, and today I've got the privilege to interview Ray McElrathbey. Ray, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. Life is great. It's been a wonderful experience thus far, and I can hope that continues.
That's right. So for those of you that may not know Ray, I'll let him tell the story. But, if you're like me, you like a good movie, you like a good sports movie, you like a good Disney movie, and you like a movie you can watch with your kids. I got 4 boys, Ray, so we're looking for a movie over the break. Your movie, Safety, just came out on Disney Plus, and I give it a 10 out of 10. I'm not a movie, guy that rates movies for a living, but I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. How's that?
Well, that's fine, although you're not a critic. But I think that's wonderful. I'm glad about the exception of the movie thus far. People have really liked it, and I think that's great.
Well, we'll talk about that. So again, this is Ray. He's the inspiration behind the movie Safety on Disney Plus. And we'll dive into some of that stuff, Ray. But maybe for the people that haven't seen it yet, or just kind of listen to this podcast and say, okay, who's this Ray guy, man? And kind of give us some of the backstory. What's made you the man you are today? And how do you get to where Disney all of a sudden wants to make a movie about your life?
Well, to make it quick, I came up, I guess, from a troubled background, troubled kid. I did some things I wasn't necessarily proud of as a young man, like getting kicked out of elementary school. So it goes back that far for me. But my mom was addicted to crack cocaine. Growing up, my dad was in and out, just given the situation that him and my mom were going through with her addiction. And so I came up like that, and I stopped living with my parents around 8 years old. And I started living with the coaches that I played with.
Wow. So
I lived with my Little League football coach and then my AAU basketball coach, and I spent some time with my high school principal. So I bounced around a little bit as a youngster. I did do the foster home thing. Luckily, it wasn't that long for me. And then one of my foster home experience there were not always great foster homes, but the one that I do remember the most is a pretty good system that I enjoyed. It brought a lot of stability in my life, thinking back on it. But coming up, going through that, being raised with my coaches, I have 7 siblings. So although Fahmarr is one that in the movie I'm taking care of, I have other siblings that I had custody of as well.
And what number was Fahmarr?
Fahmarr was, it's 8 of us. He was number 5.
Okay. Are you number 1?
Number 6. No, I'm the oldest male. I have 2 older sisters.
Okay. Yeah. Very crazy, man. So that happened, and you bounce around, and then
I luckily get earn a scholarship to Clemson University. I go up to Clemson University, and during my first year, things were pretty well. The summer of my first freshman year, my younger brother wants to come visit me. My younger brother Fahmarr. He called me all summer, over and over again, just when can I come? When are you gonna buy a ticket? So I finally got enough money up to buy him a ticket. He flew in from Vegas as an unaccompanied minor, and he started, hanging out with me on campus, enjoying, the student athlete life. I did have summer classes at the time, but they were not as strenuous as, during the times during the fall semester. So we bounced around. I played football. Always went to practice, and he was there. He enjoyed it. So towards the time, it was time for him to go back. Where the movie differs slightly is that when I received Fahmarr, there was a scene where me and my mother, switched custody. That happened before Fahmarr,
Wow.
Well, that happened before before everything went down. I ended up getting custody before the NCAA came along and all this other stuff. But nonetheless, because I had to get him in school and things like that. But Fahmarr was at Clemson visiting for the summer and decided he didn't want to go back home. And, I had been in situations with my parents, so I knew, some of the struggles he was going through. But I guess they had been a little bit more dire for him at the time. And so he didn't want to return back. And so he told me he wasn't going back. And, I was like, I gave him an option. So you can either go back or go to foster care. And he said, I'd rather go to foster care, which, made me take notice. And he asked me, could he stay with me? And, initially I said no. But he was still adamant about going to foster care, which made me consider it a little bit more. So I went to my mentors. I had 2 mentors at the time. One gentleman cussed me out. Told me that because he understood that I wasn't in the position to take care of kid because he was paying my cell phone bill at the time. He was, looking out for me, making sure I had the things that I needed. So he already knew I didn't have any money. So, and then he knew he was a student athlete as well. So he knew the things that come along with being that. So me getting the kid at that time just seemed crazy. And one of my other mentors, he was like, go for it, Ray. You can't do any worse than your parents. And I thought about it and I took both of their advice and I did it.
Wow.
And
you think too, with what you grew up with, was family a foundation? It doesn't sound like maybe it was, but did you have it kind of in your body, if you will, in your mind and your heart that, man, you wanted something more for this kid?
Oh, most definitely. But that's how I came up. Family was always big for us because with my siblings, we had to stick together in order to, try to survive against my mother's addiction.
Yeah.
We all battling that beast. And for those who don't know, that's a hell of a beast. And so we're going back. And so we come together almost, the camaraderie of siblings to try to combat the addiction. Yeah. And we had our moments where we lost a lot of battles.
What was that like when you say losing a battle? You said you're pretty vulnerable and transparent. What does that mean for those of us listening?
Well, that means that she's high today, and we saw the signs, and we didn't step in to try to prevent it. We didn't take some of the necessary steps to even prepare ourselves for that night. Because we begin, if you live with the addict long enough, you'll start to notice their triggers.
Sure.
And so that's losing the battle is seeing the triggers and then not stepping in to try to fix something before things get out of control.
Got it.
And so we will go through the day trying not to add to the triggers.
Yeah, you don't want to be the trigger.
Right. And so because we'll know what the night will bring. And then that next morning. And then that's if she's there. So it's gonna be a rough few days. And so it's unfortunate, but I think it's one of the better tools. It taught me to be adaptable. Like because everything could change in a moment, and I was used to that.
Yeah, that's unreal. So then, Fahmarr stays with you at college. You kind of hide him for a while, right? We don't want to give too much of the movie away for those people that haven't watched it, but he comes to you and stays with you. You're hiding him. What was that day like when the coaches find out and they say, "Hey, Ray, man, we figured something out here. This isn't good."
Coaches didn't find out. The coaches found out, not to give away the movie, but how the coaches found out was through the paper. The newspaper.
That's right. That article. That's right.
It became a national thing. It became a very local, it was on the front page of a local paper. And then that took off.
Yeah.
And so that's when they figured out like, oh, he's really here.
Yeah. Like he's here. Like, yeah. Yeah, fast forward a year from that, it was like Oprah was on or something like that. It was your story was on Oprah. That's crazy.
Yes, it was one little roller coaster for an 18, 19-year-old.
Yeah. So think about that. You're troubled upbringing, as you mentioned, and then now here you are as a football player in college, playing on the biggest stage, and now you're trying to also raise a child. So talk to us about that, man. What was that roller coaster like?
During that time, the adjustment was hard, in the sense that I was never a parent before. I had helped take care of my siblings, but never to the extent where now every morning he wakes up, he's looking at me. And so
gotta get him to school and feed him breakfast.
Yes. Those things became more routine. once I got into a routine about the daily, day-to-day stuff, it became natural for me. It became helpful to me because it was structured.
Yep.
And one of my biggest problems in life was not having structure. It's typically when I get crazy and things go not so well for me is when I'm idle.
Right.
So the more I have to do, the better off I am in most cases.
Yep.
It keeps me busy, make sure I'm staying on top of things.
Yep. Where do you think you learned that discipline?
Being raised by coaches.
Yeah.
I think that being coachable and being raised by coaches helped out with that a lot. And then I learned from an early age that respect and good behavior could change things for you, can change people's, whole outlook on who you are. And this was after alternative school. I went to I think Bell South sponsored it. It was like what was it called? Peer, not de-escalation, but it was peer mediation. It was some type of program where they rewarded good behavior. Okay. So they were given, as a young man, they would give us monopoly money for doing good deeds. So if we held the door, if we were helpful to others, if we were respectful. And so
you're how old at this time?
That program, that happened when I was in second grade.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So they're teaching the foundations that you weren't getting at home, basically.
Right. And then another one happened towards the end of fifth grade going into sixth grade.
Okay.
Where it was those programs that got me outside of my normal environment that helped me understand like the things that respect and attitude could get me. Like those things, if I changed those things, how far that would take me.
And how hard was that to learn? I mean, did you embrace that as a young man, or is that something that you fought like, oh, you guys are full of it?
I don't do structure. No, that wasn't my dig. That wasn't my thing. Even with one of my coaches, I had the hardest time calling and telling him where I was. Huh. This was right before cell phones were prominent and everybody had one. But I would change locations and not tell anybody because I was used to moving in that manner.
Right.
And I didn't have to tell people where I was going and when I would be back.
Right.
But it was a problem for me for the longest.
Did you feel like it was a weak thing? Did you feel like you were weak if you did that? Or like, what was the feeling behind that?
No, it was more so like, why? Like, why is it important?
Yeah.
I'm going to be back. I'm coming back.
Don't worry about me.
Right. Because I didn't need nobody to worry about me. And for me, it was someone looking over me, and I never had anybody to look over me like that. So it's like, you in my business. For what reason? I don't know. Because I know why I would get in my mom's business like that, because she was doing something she had no business doing. So I equated attention with me doing something negative.
Yep.
So you don't need to pay attention to me. You need to go and do something else.
Yeah. So you worry about yourself. I'll worry about me, right?
Yes. I rebelled early on a lot, a whole lot.
How's mom doing now?
My mom's great. She's great now. Good. She's working still. Addiction is a day-to-day thing. It's each day is a new day. So that's what they teach you in the program.
Yep.
Just worry about today, get through the day clean, and that's how I look at it for myself as well. Just is how you doing today.
That's right. You get to see her very often?
Yes, I see her often.
Okay. What's she think of this movie?
Well, she's happy for me, but I have mixed feelings for her.
Yeah.
Because she can't do anything but be happy for me publicly. Because anything else would be seen as, possibly ungrateful or something else. But I know it has to be hard for her to have to go, national television. Now the world knows your addiction.
Right.
And the world knows you're an addict. And the world sees what some would consider your shortcoming. And the pain that goes with that. Because there's not like a happy moment for her in the movie. It's not like a moment where she comes back and she's a hero.
Yep.
And so... that's one of my great, that's one of the things I just don't like about the movie myself, particularly. Because she's a lot more than an addict.
What would you say? If she were right here, right now, and I made you tell her something, what's the one thing you have learned from her that's positive?
I mean, everything I learned from my mom is positive. If nothing else, hell, I know what not to do.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, with that, having that, and me being comfortable with who I am and who I've become makes me excited for all the things that I went through with her. It makes me look back and think that they were necessary, because I can talk about the things. My story wouldn't be my story if it wasn't the things that I went through. And so whereas some people might resent their parents at this point in their life for the things that they went through, I thank my parents because I'm different that way. I'm unique. And unfortunately, it might not have been in the way that they wanted to happen. But I know this is not what they have. They didn't want what happened to happen. Like if it was for them, the ideal situation was, married forever, millions of dollars, home, all the kids good. Yeah, I think everybody set out for that. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not one to just be like, forget your intentions. Because I always knew my parents loved me. I never thought their intentions were malice or in any way of like something they didn't have any malicious intent is what I was thinking about.
Sure.
So I'm not perfect either. And I've had my shortcomings in the things that I've done that I'm not proud of. So until, like I say, fix your own house, I can't go out and, go knock down somebody else's.
That's right.
And so, but for my parents, man, I love my parents. And I thank them for all the things that they instilled in me and all the things that they didn't. And for them to have the courage to let somebody else try it. Because a lot of parents will hold on and not let go.
Yep.
And will hinder their kids in a sense. But I had the
pride, right? That makes me think of pride. Pride comes in and they're not going to let that happen because of the pride.
Yes. Not going to accept help because of the pride. Not going to seek help because of the pride.
Yep.
And my dad was a very proudful man. He could have did that. And just not letting somebody else take care of me that wasn't bound by the state is a lot. Because they could have said no at any time.
That's right.
But I think they were having my best interests at heart, decided to let me go ahead and do the things that I needed to do in order for me to make it.
Was sports for you, was that one of those things kind of get your mind off everything? Because you played AAU basketball, you obviously played football and other sports. I mean, was that your getaway?
Yes. It was my getaway. It was the way I fit in. It was the way I wasn't alone on most days because I always had a group of guys that wanted to be either on a team or competing against me.
Yep.
And so sports was definitely a safe haven for me, and it was a tool. It was a vehicle to get to the places I wanted to go.
Yep.
At first, it was a lifestyle for me though. It was all I ever wanted to do, and then I had to come to grips with that not being what I was going to end up doing for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And
then even if I made it to the NFL, it still wouldn't be what I would be doing for the rest of my life. At most, it'll be for a quarter of my life.
That's right.
And so just having those different thought processes and perspectives always helped me move forward with how all the things that life throws at you.
So what was it like when, do you call Disney? Does Disney call you? I mean, what's that whole, obviously I've never had a movie made by about my life from Disney. So what's that process like, man? How's that happen?
Well, you typically you go back and forth. If you have a story, luckily my story was national, so other people picked it up. It had some traction early on in the early 2000s, so it was still a wonderful story. So it's not like I went to 3 studios prior to going to Disney, 3 or 4, I think it was. And you sign a deal, and then you wait. And if they make the movie, they do. If not, the deal expires, and then you're on to the next deal. And then you typically really don't have much conversation unless they get, because a lot of the times they buy the rights just to hold it, just in case they might want to do a movie.
So the next guy doesn't make it.
Yes.
And how long is that deal? So Disney says, hey, our company 1 is going to say, Studio 1 says, here's your deal. Is that 2 years? Is that 2 months? What's that like?
Typically 18 months to 2 years.
Okay.
And then they'll tell you, we'll give you this up front. And if you don't make the movie, you keep the initial. If we make the movie, then you keep that and you get whatever on the back end.
Yeah.
And so initially, I just always got front end money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get this. Okay, cool. And then, 18 months pass. Oh, time to get a new deal.
Time to get a new check.
Let's see if I can find somebody else to sign me up.
Right.
And then, and just kind of did that for years. Not too many years, but because there was like 2-3 years in there where I wasn't under contract. Yeah. But then, Disney's platform came along.
Thank God for Disney Plus.
Yes. Can't fight that. Can't.
No.
And so, and from there, they got the rights. And then when I signed with Disney, well, one person might be extremely excited to sign with Disney. For me, it was like, okay, here we go again.
Right.
Let's go try to make a movie for real. Okay, let's act like we're gonna make a movie.
Yeah.
And I went back to work. I was at work, minding my business, because it was towards the end of this deal. It was, I think, towards like the 12th or 13th month into it where, I get the email, they greenlit the movie. I'm like, oh, like really? Like,
what does that mean?
So I call them, they're going to make it. It's happening.
Wow.
Like, serious? Yeah. And so, I'm at work crying, just excited and happy about everything that's happening. And from there, it was.
Who's the first call? Who's the first call you made?
I don't know. I can't remember. I think I called my mama. I think I called Fahmarr. I might call Fahmarr.
Fahmarr, they're going to make a movie about us, man.
Yes, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Because I didn't call my mom because I didn't want to tell her, because I typically don't tell people anymore, because once, how many times you do it so many times, it's like me crying wolf. Like, oh, yeah, I just saw a movie deal. So once they said it was greenlit, I was like, okay, it still didn't really hit me. I cried, but at the same time, I didn't want to tell anybody, just in case, it's not, things are not in ink, everything's not done. And so I think I called Fahmarr and told them, don't tell nobody, for a little while.
That's all. And how long ago was that compared to the movie being done and out in December?
I think it was 2 years.
Okay, so this has been going on for a couple of years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we finished production right before COVID.
Okay.
And then,
so you were pretty involved, right? You were on set quite a bit?
Yes, all over the place. I trained the cast. I guess I got coffee a lot of the times now. I was everywhere.
You're the errand boy?
Yeah.
Yeah. How true is the story about Fahmarr? And, the people that are watching, I'm pulling my jersey. How true is that story?
No, it's not. It's not that true. More so was that there was a what would I call it? A signal, a check we had for an alignment. Yep. And that we named after him, but it was based on us knowing that if they pulled this, that if they lined up their tight end behind this, like it was 3 yards behind the line, if they lined them up right there, that they was gonna run outside zone play. And so it was just basically anytime they get into a certain alignment, we'll call Fabo and know that it's an outside zone play.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. So then now you reach it. What are you having to do now with the movie? You run around doing interviews like this, or what's the game plan?
Yes. I'm running around doing interviews like this. I'm trying to inspire the world, change the world all at the same time, working with my foundation, which I started to do things similar to this and try to be of service.
Yeah. So tell us more, man. What's the foundation about? What are you going to do with the foundation, and what's Ray doing today?
Well, I'm looking to do an inpatient, bring in families, almost like a transition home. And so I'll, buy a duplex or, like a 4-unit apartment building, and put families in and work with them within the program. Okay. And transition them out.
And what town are you doing this in, Atlanta, or where at?
Yes, I'm looking to do it in Atlanta. Yes. Yep. I'm looking to do it in Atlanta because I'm also working with this after-school program called Scholars Ed. They have 54 facilities between Canada and America. Okay. And they're building more facilities. Jamal Lewis has a facility here in Atlanta. And I'm working with them to do something similar where it's an after-school program as well as something that ties into my foundation. Okay. So the kids get the educational, things that they need. And then I'm putting together a financial literacy course. Yep. To teach families to be more financially literate and how to keep their money, invest their money, and not just save it. Well, that's when I'm speaking now. Not that I wasn't speaking before, but now I'm speaking a lot more, of course. That's right. Getting the movie out.
That's awesome, man. We need to connect afterwards. I'm on a board here in St. Louis. Kyle McClellan used to be a pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, and they do a lot of work in Haiti and in North St. Louis here where I'm at, St. Louis, Missouri. So we do a lot of those things you're talking about. We buy homes, but not we, I don't, but I'm on the board. And so buy homes and then, fix them up and then get families in them, and they have a jobs program, and you got to be to school on time. I mean, all sorts of things that are going on, and they're doing just a bang up job with it. So happy to connect you with the right people and learn from these folks.
That'd be wonderful. I'm looking to partner with anybody and work with, because I essentially want to build a network of people that understand what I'm doing and know what I'm trying to do, and then I'll keep you informed as I'm doing it. So it's almost like we're doing it. It's just like my village of people and helping other people. And so we go family from family. And so this is how we help this family. And then once we transition this family out, they can join the village.
That's awesome.
And so
whether you're in St. Louis or Atlanta, man, there's plenty of opportunities out there to help people.
Yes, and that's the goal. To be of service. I started a trucking company, moving freight using 26-foot box trucks. So some I'm doing as well. I'm just trying to be involved as much as possible.
That's awesome. It's great, man. Well, you're doing a great job. And where do our listeners find more of you? If you got somebody that's listening right now and they say, hey, we need a great speaker, come in, fire up the troops, fire up their staff, their team, whatever. Where do we find you for that? Where do we find you just to follow your story?
Well, I have a website for my foundation. And you also can contact me through it. It's www.raysafetynet.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Ray McElrathbey on Facebook, Instagram, Ray McBey, RayMcBey. Twitter @McElrathbey, which is my last name. I do have some agencies that I'm working with. So either Big Speaks or APB speaking bureaus. Both of them can have an agent to reach out to me and get in contact with me that way as well. But I'm always open. You can hit me up online and I'll go from there.
Just like we did, man, the story. And this is what I think I love just about you and about just so many people in the world today is, so I get done. I'm looking out right now where we watch our movies, and I got done, and me and the kids are sitting there. My wife's sitting there. We're watching the credits roll through, and you just feel good. You feel inspired, right? So if you haven't watched the movie, do yourself a favor, grab it with your kids and watch it. But I'm sitting there and I go to Instagram. I'm like, this guy's got to be on Instagram. I send you a message. And then it was that night, man, we were texting back and forth, like 15 times, just like literally 5 minutes after the movie. And I'm thinking, here's a guy that's going through Disney Plus. And I'm not saying this to brag about me. I'm saying this about you, is the fact that you're so giving, man, and what you're going to do and the impact you're going to make is huge. So I appreciate you responding and jumping back on this show, man. It's going to be awesome watching you as you continue to grow and the things that you're going to do.
Well, I appreciate you having me. I try to be accessible to all, because I know that it's hard, and I don't want anybody to feel like they're out there alone.
That's right.
And so, hey, I'm here for anybody who could use any services. I try to help as much as possible, and I appreciate you for having me. And thank you for watching the movie, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Well, Ray, man, it's been awesome having you. I appreciate you being on the Circuit of Success, and we'll shoot this your way when we're done, and we'll get it out there. We'll inspire a bunch of people and hopefully help a lot of people along the way, man. So thanks for being with us.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Tune in next week for another episode of The Circuit of Success with Brett Gilliland on the lineupmedia.fm podcast network. Subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and through our website, circuitofsuccess.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and email any questions to info@circuitofsuccess.com.
This podcast was a presentation of lineupmedia.fm.